Hey, my friends, welcome to this video, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Luis Key, and today is a different sort of video. I'm not going to be as, in a professional setting. It's just here to review some of the gigs that you sent me as promised, and I'm going to be posting this on the Facebook group, on the course, and on the Telegram channel, everywhere. And this is more practical advice because in general, a lot of my message to all my Pakistani freelancers and my friends is always about communication and understanding that this is the most important part that you're missing. Because I always say that, Pakistani freelancers have amazing talent. You guys have amazing skills, a great skill set, which can be very valuable to Western customers. But very often, you don't want to learn the proper ways of communicating, not just in the words you say, but how you say them and how you accommodate to your customers' needs. And I'm going to be covering this extensively in general. But today, I'm going to basically speak about these gigs in particular that you sent me, why I think it's missing that communication aspect and why it's not selling itself well. And as you can see, it has no orders and the gig is not done. So I'm going to be giving a lot of tips onto this, and just imagine that this is also, your own gig, and try to apply the strategies and everything that I'm mentioning to your own gig. So essentially, I'm going to be seeing how this person is selling himself. So this is Nawaz Khan. And yeah, so let's look into it. So first of all, we have a very big issue with the thumbnail. So the thumbnail is very, very bad. The He's not getting orders because nobody is clicking on his gig. And because nobody's clicking on his gig, he's not getting any impressions. So see, it's always a cycle. That's why with Fiverr, you need to get everything right in order to get orders. If one part of the wheel is not working, then you won't get orders. So in this wheel, there's the click-through rate, which is your thumbnail, your title, people being interested. Then the conversion rate, which is how many people are buying. I'm going to actually put myself bigger here. How many people are buying? Then the internal part, the service delivery and the communication, and then the returning buyer feedback loop, and then you have the end of this loop. So if one of these part is broken, let's say service delivery is not great, communication is not great, the whole wheel will break and you will not get any orders. And if you're not getting any orders, it's because at one point of this wheel, you're not doing a good job. And in 90% of the cases, if you never got a single order, it's because of that initial part of the wheel, which is the click-through rate and the conversion rate. So nobody's clicking on your gig and nobody is converting and buying it. So really, when you think of your gig, you want to think in terms of your ideal customer and what does he want and why would he buy your gig? Because the reality is there's going to be a million competitors of yours in Pakistan as well, maybe India, who are also going to do the exact same gig and who are going to, compete with you for this buyer. So what you want to think about is, why would a buyer click on my gig and not somebody else's gig, right? Why would someone be interested in working with me and not this other person in Pakistan? And yeah, so the big mistake people make here usually, especially in Pakistan, is thinking in terms of price. Is to say, if I reduce my price more people will buy my gig and people will choose my gig over my competitors and my friends. But the reality is that doesn't really matter, because $5, $10 for a Westerner, someone in the US, is very little money. And the time of this person is much more valuable than $5 or $10. So that buyer will always try to make sure he's not wasting any time rather than saving $5 or $10. So how will the customer know he's not going to be wasting time with you? He wants to make sure he's taking a good decision and to be 100% sure that you're going to do the job and do it right and do it better than other people. And many things go into speaking and conveying that you are going to do it right and do the job right. And the professionalism of your gig, your experience, your rating, of course, but your rating, if you don't have any rating, well, you can't really have that yet, but I'm going to explain this later in this video. And yeah, and all the way you speak, the way you communicate, when he sends you a message, how do you respond? So yeah, all these things are extremely important into showing that. So instead of thinking, why am I not getting any orders, or think, why are people not choosing my gig? This is a question you should be asking yourself, because Fiverr will always promote people, gigs that people choose to work with. So if people click on your gig and people buy it, Fiverr will then promote it. And Fiverr will always test and give you chances to be promoted before you actually get orders and you get feedback, etc. So they're going to test it, and if your CTR and your conversion rate is not good, they will stop promoting it and your gig will die and you will not get any impressions. This is also a very important tip. Make sure you get the gig done perfectly right before you publish it, because if you publish a bad version of your gig, a lot of these chances that Fiverr will give you to start getting impressions will go to waste, because then you will not get a good CTR and a good conversion rate. So here, let's deep dive into this specific person and why he's not getting any orders. So I said all this just to come back to the point that this thumbnail is terrible. It's terrible. And you have to think in terms of Western visual standards. You know, in the Western world, we don't like, these colors like the purple, they have to be used really, really well. People care about elegance. People care about minimalism. Think of Apple, right? Why is Apple so successful in the US, in Europe, etc., etc.? Because it's simple. And simplicity means that you're smart enough to take away anything unnecessary to focus on what really matters. So here, why would you have a keyboard here? What is the value of this? There's no value. It brings nothing, right? And anything on your gig which doesn't have something of importance, or something that really matters, take it away, because less is more and simplicity is key. So this keyboard makes no sense. Obviously, I understand that this is data mining, so it's about entering data, but you use a keyboard to do data mining. That doesn't mean that there's a link in people's brains between data mining and a keyboard. So yeah, then he writes, I will do any type of data entry. But this is already written in the title of the gig. Why would you need to write this, right? So the whole thumbnail is a mess. It's really not good. The second one is, it's not written professionally. Again, a useless keyboard, and you have no space here. There's a mistake, a photo which is tiny, so it doesn't really make any sense. So let's say now you have 100 competitors. And in reality, you probably have 10,000 competitors. Let's say there's 10,000 gigs that do data mining and data entry. Why would someone click on this gig and not the other 10,000? They would never. They would never, because it makes no sense, because nothing brings attention, nothing brings value, and nothing puts the buyer in a confident position, right? So yeah, let me just put the video here. So yeah, in your thumbnail, you want to give a reason of people to buy, and that reason should be emotion based. It's not about showing as much, like writing everything. You want to show that you're a professional, that you have a beautiful thumbnail, that you're going to execute well on what you do. So I don't have an idea precisely right now of what he should put on his thumbnail, but maybe he should focus on putting a professional photo of himself. And why do I say this? Because oftentimes I say that it's useless to have a photo of a person. Why would it be a good option? Well, because if you think of data entry, people are looking for an assistant. People are looking for someone to work with and to delegate a task. And this task is so simple to do that all they care about is making sure that the person they're working with is nice, communicates well, and is close in a way that he's going to respond quickly. So if you have a photo of you, then people will think, okay, this person is a real person. It's not a robot. He's here. He's going to be helping me. And if the picture is good and professional, that creates trust and value for the buyer. So maybe here he should just have a picture of himself, and then behind have a very beautiful Excel spreadsheet with data which is very well organized and very beautifully done with colors, etc., etc. Because what that will show is it will give an idea of the best result the customer can get and how well the data will be structured. So try to think, what is your buyer actually looking for, right? He's looking for something beautifully done, well executed, well organized. So if you show this in the thumbnail, you're giving them a reason to click and you're going to increase your conversion rate. So here you're not giving any reason to buy the gig. So that's why this gig is performing so badly. So this is a major thing you can fix. Then I will do data entry, data mining, web research, and copy paste, etc. First of all, there's a very big mistake here in terms of communication. And I'm going to give you a second to think what that is. Put pause on the video and try to figure out what the mistake is in terms of writing and in terms of in terms of all that. So see, the mistake here is the lack of engagement and lack of empathy. The way he wrote this, and this is a very Pakistani style way of communicating, is not showing empathy and commitment to your writing. So see, when I say a sentence here, I can say it like, hello everyone, welcome to this video. Or I can say, hello everyone, welcome to this video. And see the difference. And what most Pakistani freelancers do is they do it the first version, which is like, it's as if they don't really care. It's as if they're not really into what they're saying. And here, in the way he's writing, he doesn't have any empathy, and he doesn't feel involved. Why am I saying this? Etc. Why would you write etc. is not a nice word. It's a word which says and other stuff. Like, I do this, and other stuff, right? And that really shows a lack of commitment, a lack of politeness, a lack of good communication, and a lack of empathy. So try to create an impactful sentence which shows commitment. And I can't think of a phrase right now, but he could say, I will do flawless and wait, I'll put on pause and think for it for a second. So you could say, I will do bulletproof data entry to provide data for your company. So this again needs to be reworked a lot, but overall you get my idea. Have a powerful word which shows commitment. So bulletproof data mining. So see, when it's bulletproof data mining, you're showing that you care about the results. You care about executing well in a way that is going to benefit your customer greatly. Whereas here, he's not saying any of that. So already when you have bulletproof, what are you saying? Like, you're going to outcompete every other freelancer out there. Why? Because they're all going to be like, not have anything special. And then you say that you do bulletproof data mining. Then the customer is going to think, okay, maybe this guy's a bit special and he cares a bit more. And your CTR will go through the roof and your conversion rate will go through the roof, and you're going to start getting orders. So it's already 15 minutes now. I've said quite a lot to do. And you know, you should really spend a lot of time on your gig, because your gig is like your website. It's your only conversion machine. If you don't focus on making a highly converting machine and thinking in terms of the buyer and how he resonates, right? And what he wants and what he's looking for, you're not going to get orders. So then that's a big mistake I see. 2-hour data entry, 5-hour data entry, 10-hour data entry. There's two mistakes here. One, which is related closer to the big side of the gig, is maybe the gig is too broad and you should focus